Sec 4 NA Revision Checklist Part 2C. Now, in this part of our lesson today, we'll be looking at direct and inverse proportions, some cases that gives us numbers and some cases that gives us unknown values, okay? And we need to solve them using algebra. Then after that, we'll be looking at some questions on percentages, especially reverse percentages, and some problems involving algebra in the percentages as well. So without further ado, let's begin our lesson. First question, now 7 men can paint a bridge in 15 days. How long would it take 3 men? So now we know that I have 7 men, takes 15 days. Now in this case, when the number of men increases, the number of days will decrease. So this is a inverse proportion. So I'm going to find 1 man. If I'm going to take 1 man, if the number of men decreases, then the number of days will increase. So when I divide by 7 over here, okay, then this part will be, I'm going to multiply by 7. So it'll be 15 times 7. 15 times 7 will give me 105 days. Now it's take 3 men. Men will take, if I'm going to have multiply by 3, then this part over here will be divide by 3. So 3 men will take 105 divided by 3, lesser number of days, 35 days. Next question, a bridge was painted in T days. Write down an expression in terms of T for the number of men needed. Okay, so now I'm going to have 7 men. It takes 15 days. Now they give me the number of days to be T. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find 1 day. Although technically it's not possible to build a bridge in 1 day. But if I'm going to take 1 day, my number of days decreases. That means my number of men will increase. So that would be 7 times 15 to give you 105 men. And now they want me to have T days. That means I'm going to multiply by T. And this part here will be divide by T. How are we going to write division? Divide by T in terms of algebra. Well, we'll write a fraction. So 105 over T men. Write down an expression. The expression will be 105 over T. Have you gotten your answer? Next one, y is inversely proportional to the square of x. So the moment we see this term square of x, we'll put a x square to it. Now how do we write the equation for inversely proportional? So y equals to k times or k over. So it's inversely proportional, it'll be k over the square of x, so it's x squared. Given that y equals to 4 when x equals to 3, find the value of y when x equals 10. Now what is this piece of information for? When y equals to 4, k over x is now equals to 3. 3 squared is 9. The purpose is for us to find the value for k. So k is equals to 36. Right, now I'm going to use my equation. Y equals to, the k is now changed to the number 36. Okay, but x can be any other x number. So find the value of y when x equals to 10. So y will now be 36 over 10 squared, which is 36 over 100, 0.36. Have you gotten the answer? Next one over here, p is proportional to q cubed. So we know that p equals to 24 for a particular value of q. This problem starts here. So I'm going to first write down the equation. Directly proportional, so it'll be p equals to k times. Now this is q cubed, so q cubed. It is known that p equals to 24 for a particular value of q. So that means I'm going to use this to find k. So I'm going to start p equals to 24, k, and now q is q cubed. Okay, so this is a particular value of q. So I'm not sure what is this value, but I'm just going to keep it as q. Now our objective here is to find k. So what we're going to do, we're going to find an expression in terms of k. So k will be in terms of, to do this, I divide by q cubed. So writing it in a fraction form for algebra, 24 over q cubed. So k is now this expression over here. Okay, we are going to use this later. Now find the value of p. So the new value of p, okay, when this value of q is half. So originally we have k q cubed. So it's k now q and cube. The cube is for the q itself. So k, we found the expression to be 24 over q cubed. And now the q, they tell me what happens to the q. They take q and halve it, meaning q divided by 2. Then I still need to square the whole thing. Now this power over here applies to the numerator, also applies to the denominator. So I will have 24q cubed from this expression times, now this is q cubed. 2 cubed is 8. Remember, this one also have a power. Then you notice q cubed and q cubed will cancel. So I get 28 divided by 4. 824 divided by 8. And that gives me the number 3. Have you gotten the concept? Okay, if not, you can repeat the thing again and try to do. Now we move on to the next question, slightly similar to this type of pattern. In this question, f is inversely proportional to square of d. The moment we see this phrase, square of d, we'll put d squared. So inversely proportional, let's write down the equation first. F equals to k over d squared. It's known that f equals to 10 for a particular value of d. So I do not know, but I know it's d squared. Our objective is to first find an expression for k. So using this, I cross multiply over, I will have 10d squared to be the value for k, for this particular value. Right, now I know this equation, I'm going to keep this. Find the value of f when the value of d is doubled. So d is doubled means become 2d, right? 2 times of d. So f is now equals to k times d squared, right? Following this pattern over here. So k, we found 10d squared for that particular value of d. And now d is doubled, it becomes 2d. And the power over here, square, applies for both the number 2 and the letter d. 10d squared over 4d squared. What do you notice about the d squared? Cancel away, we are left with the number 2.5. Have you gotten the concept? Next question, the braking distance is directly proportional to the square of the speed. So we're going to take the speed and you square it. When the speed is p, the distance is 6. And the speed is increased by. Now this keyword down here is increased by. Okay, if I were to increase by, that means originally I have 100%. I'm going to add 300%. That means I will get a 400%. Find an expression for the new speed. So the original 100% is p. Right? Now if I have 400%, that will be 4p. So the new speed is 4p. Find the new braking distance. Now let's write the equation. Breaking distance, so what letter will you want? Maybe I'll let B be the breaking distance. Breaking distance is directly proportional, so K to the square of the speed is P, so P square. They tell you when the speed is P, the distance is 6. So I'm going to use this number. Same objective, what do we find first? Find an expression for K. So I'm going to keep K. And now this will move over to become divide. So it will be 6 over P squared. Now my breaking distance is given by K times P squared. Okay, so K now is the number 6 over P squared. What is the new breaking distance? What's the new speed? The new speed, we found the answer to be 4P. So this would be 4P. Okay, remember the power over here applies for the number and the algebra. So we'll have 6 over P squared times 4 times 4, 16 P squared. Notice P squared and P squared can cancel away. So 6 times 16 should give you 64. Oh no, sorry, it's 96. So the new breaking distance is 96 meters. Have you gotten the concept? Now, next one. Let's move on to the next question. Y is proportional to x to the power of n. Write down the value of the power n when you are talking about y is the area. What do you know about the formula for a circle? Area is given by area of a circle with radius xcm, so pi r squared. So now they tell me that the area is y, so y cm squared, and pi is a constant, actually it's just k, and then the radius is now x, so x squared. So compare this to y equals to, that y is directly proportional to x to the power of n, right? Y equals to kx to the power of n. So k is the constant, and therefore n will be the number 2. Part 2. Okay, y is the time taken to travel a distance at a constant speed. Distance, so time taken, time equals to distance divided by speed. So the time now is in y hours. Distance now is x kilometer divided by a constant speed over a constant speed. So I'll let k be the constant speed. Rewriting this, we can have y equals to 1 over k times x. So I'm going to erase the times, right? And compare this with y equals to kx to the power n. Where k is just a constant, so that means these two are constants over here, and x is the same as x. So what's the power here for n? The power here is 1, so therefore n is equals to 1. Alright, we'll move on to the next question. The frequency and wavelength of radio waves are connected by this equation. Well, it's inverse proportion, and this table shows the value of the frequency. So now they tell me that f equals to k over w. Now why did they give me the table? To find certain values that I can use. So I noticed that this and this over here are values given to me. So I'm going to use it in this case. So frequency is 98.7. Then k is my constant. And w, the wavelength, is given be 3.04 meters. Alright, so now what can we do? We can cross multiply. And you'll find K to be equals to 98.7 times 3.04. That will give me 300.048. I'm going to keep this as the constant, as the same. I'm going to round this off so that all the values will be the same as well. So using this value of K, calculate the frequency for station B. Now station B is over here. I have the wavelength to be 48.78. So frequency I do not know. K I know 300.048 from the previous part. Divide by W, which is the wavelength 48.78. And my frequency will be 6.1510 rounded off to 368 megahertz. Remember to include the units. Right, last but not least, find the wavelength of station C. So I know my frequency is given to be the one in the question, they gave us that the frequency over here, this is the number, C to be 90.5. So I'm going to use 90.5 is equals to 300.048 over the wavelength. So we are going to cross multiply. And then we're going to divide to find W. And that will give us the answer 3.32 meters round off to 368. Have you gotten the answer? Now these are some of the concepts for direct inverse proportion. We should now move on to a little bit more on percentages, and some of them involves a little bit of algebra. Now in this question, the original price of a painting in January was 96. So in January, $96. Now this $96 was the original price, 100%. In February, the price increased by 12%. So February, January this was 100%, right? I'm going to write it as 100%, which is my original, represents $96. Now I'm going to increase this by 12%, so 112% will represent a value of 112 divided by 100 times 96, and that gives you a value of 107.52. that is in February. Now in March, the price is decreased to, what do you mean by the word decreased to? So I'm not decreased by 25%, I'm decreased to 25%, so I'm left with 25%. But now in this case, it's the price base value based on the price in February. So now the 100%, this is no longer March already. It will be go back to February. Now of February, this 100% will be the number 107.52. You notice that the base value changes, not the same base value. Now in March, it's only left with 25%, not deduct by 25%, but decrease due to. So 25 over 100 times this number, and that gives us the value of $26.88. Now this is the price of the painting in March, giving the answer correct to the nearest cent. Have you gotten the answer? Next question. In 2007, each of the box of energy bars is priced at $6.50. The price increased by 10%. So by another 10%, I'm going to add 10% in 2008. So in 2007, 100% of it represents $6.50. So now increased by 10%. That is in year 2008. That will give me a value of, I'm going to take 110 divided by 100 times $6.50. Therefore, the price of a box of energy bar in 2008 is $7.15. In part 2, the price in 2007 was an increase of the price in 2005. Oh, in this case, the 2005 is the number that is the original 100%. Okay, because this was an increase of that number. So what is the price in 2007? How many percent is it? It's increased by 25%. So the price in 2007 was 125%. So now what we have is in 2007, okay, the price was 125% was represented by the price $6.50. Now if I want to find 2005 100%, that will give me 100 over 125 times $6.50 to be the answer, $5.20. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, next question. The price of a flat at the end of 2006, so in year 2006, was 9% higher than the price at the end of 2005. Oh, so 2005 was the original 100%. 2006 was 9% higher, so 109% higher. Okay, the price of a flat at the end of 2007 now, this is 6% higher than that of end of 2016. What does this mean? That means I want a 6% higher. I want 106% of the price, 106%, but it's off the price in 2006. So the price in 2006 is actually 109%. So that gives me 106% of 109%. Okay, now this looks a little bit confusing. Let's say this is 100 units. That means 2006, this will be 109 units, isn't that? That means in 2007, I will have 106 over 100% times 109. Let's see how many units can we get. I get 115.54 units. So calculate the price of the flat at the end of 2007 as a percentage of the price at the end of 2005. Well, now the end of 2005, I already let it to be 100%, and that means this one will be 15%.54. Therefore, the final answer percentage is 115.54%. Okay, why is this so? That's all because the base value that we use down here is 2006, and 2006 is not 100% but 109%. Okay? Please try to understand and digest this question a little bit more. Moving on, now we'll look at some example that is involve a little bit of algebra in terms of percentages. In 2008, the number of students studying math was N. It rose by X% in 2009. So in 2008 is the original number. That means it's 100%. 100% is represented by N students. Okay, in 2009, the number increased by. If it's increased by, that means I'll have 100% plus X%. So it'll be 100 plus X%. And I want to find the number of students. How do I do this? 100 and plus X over 100 times N. So I can get my expression. Now where should this new N go to? N should go to the numerator. So it'll be 100 plus X times N over 100. Now, question did not ask us to expand and simplify, but you may wish to do so if you like to. Alright, we've come to the end of this part of the chapter for the day. Alright, now next lesson we'll be talking about polygons. and a little bit of the solving of the different type of angles and parallel lines involved. So please try the questions if you can. Alright, I'll see you for the next lesson.